Carolina. Winner of this one takes the series as this SEC season moves forward. On the ground to short, Brooke Blankenship has to hurry to beat the speedy Reagan Johnson, but she does. And there's one out.
I think you're going to see a lot more swings on a Sunday. After seeing pitchers throughout the entire weekend, you've got an idea of everybody's staff. Yes, you always have scouting reports, but being able to see them live, and now that everybody's kind of showed their cards, I think you're going to see a lot more offensive aggressiveness throughout this game. So we should see some more action early.
Nia Carter, the next Razorback, to enter the box. Carter, a transfer from Iowa, using her 5th year of eligibility here, and you can see Bree Ellis will back her up. Kylie Halverson, Hannah Gamble in the 4 and the 5 spots. 2 more Razorbacks that can send it deep. But the Gamecocks have done a good job at keeping that offense at bay for the most part this weekend. As Kayla told you moments ago, Arkansas only mustered a few hits, 3 of them to be exact, on Friday night. There's a couple of errors in the field by South Carolina that allowed Arkansas to ultimately come away with that victory. And then yesterday, just 1 run on the board, 5 between the 2 games for Arkansas. Comes the 3-1. And indeed, the Razorbacks are swinging. This is their first base hit of the day as Carter sneaks it past the second baseman, Denver Bryant.
It's just a tough play for Bryant, especially because everybody playing in. Their entire defense was pulled inside the base path. So just out of reach for Bryant. That otherwise might have been a easy ground ball.
So 1 out and 1 on. Here's Bree Ellis. Ellis 1 of 4 with 2 walks this series. But as Kayla mentions, a third of her hits in SEC play have been home runs. That's 5 of 15. Batting .405 in the league overall. Her home run total on the season tied for 3rd best in the SEC, the 5th most RBIs as well.
Ellis is definitely that player for them that when you look at the scouting report, the name definitely has an asterisk next to it. Even though maybe she hasn't gotten that big base hit this series yet so far, I think that you're going to see that you don't really want her to beat you. So throwing around her, keeping the ball just out of reach is what they're going to kind of go for here.
Well, certainly the Gamecocks knew what Bree Ellis could do from the last couple years. When she was at Auburn 2 years ago, the SEC Freshman of the Year. Had 20 home runs as a college freshman in the SEC. Ridiculous stuff. Then led the Tigers again last year with 14. And after just 2 years, ended up top 10 all-time in career home runs in Auburn history. She's taken her talents to Fayetteville. And she and Nia Carter both part of a transfer class that was ranked 2nd in the country this year. Head coach Courtney Deifel's squad, second only to Oklahoma. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Ellis. The scoreless first with a runner on and 1 away. This is caught by Denver Bryant as she gets the fingertips of her mitt to it for the big 2nd out.
Excellent range by Denver Bryant there, because that otherwise seeming base hit off the bat. Great extension there.
Not only did she have to move to her right, had to get up in the air to bring that thing down, and she did. So 2 away for Kylie Halverson. Senior from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, long way from home. But she has been right at home in Fayetteville. Halverson making her 225th collegiate start today. This is her 5th year. On the ground to third, Zoe Leno with the short hop. fires it across, and the side.
Coming in at around 64, 65 miles an hour, and just working both sides of the plate with that as a lefty pitcher is extremely hard to hit. She will also come in with a little bit of an upspin to it and mix in a change coming in at the low 50s. So extremely tough to hit because it's going to have really late break with a lot of spin. So the Gamecock hitters are going to have to let that pitch develop before making up their mind. I think that's whenever sometimes you're watching on TV going, why did she swing at that? Well, I promise you at some point it looked good.
That's probably.
So suddenly that late break to the ball, that's what makes Heron so effective. The Gamecocks are going to have to be really disciplined on that curveball today to make a difference.
Well, as we told you in the top half of the first, Riley Blampede really set the tone for the weekend with that 12-pitch at-bat. First Gamecock to face Morgan Linestock on Friday night. She's been all over the lineup this season, but has been in the leadoff spot a good bit. Wasn't recently, and then Beverly Smith moved her back into that position. And the results have been promising. Blampede now on a 4-game hitting streak. She's batting .300 over her last 10 after going through a mid-season slump. So the senior starting to rediscover her form, and right at the time the Gamecocks would like her to do so. Doesn't chase the rise ball, count even 2-2. Blampede leads this team in hits, doubles, and runs batted in. Works the count full. Now the payoff from Heron. Out to right field. It's carrying a good bit. Chasing it is Nia Carter. Up against the wall. She's got it. One away.
It's great contact on an outside pitch coming back towards the plate. Blampede let that pitch break. Took it really far to right field. Great play. But I think that they've got to feel good that, hey, an adjustment was made on the curveball versus Friday. So hopefully that information is going back and relayed to the dugout, seeing adjustments that need to be made, place in the box, whether we're timing it up differently. Just those kind of conversations are crucial, and you'll see the Gamecocks actually be in the dugout writing these things down to where they can pass the information but also retain the information. Sometimes adrenaline gets going and suddenly we forget as we get back up to the plate, oh man, what did I do last time? And so sometimes just taking the minute to, this is what my approach was, this is what worked, this is what I saw, and this is how I can help my teammates.
You know what they say about if you write something down, it actually helps your brain remember it a little bit more.
No doubt.
That's why I'm a pen and paper kind of guy.
Me too.
2-1 now to Denver Bryant's, also an Auburn transfer, so a former teammate of Bree Ellis. A second team All-League selection a year ago on the Plains. Bryant had the game-winning double yesterday. 2 outs in the 5th after Blampede got on. Second time in the last 2 weeks that Bryant's had a game-winning double. The first came in a midweek against Winthrop, and that was in walk-off fashion. Yesterday it was just what turned out to be the game-winning RBI as the Gamecocks won 2-1. Oh my.
Wow.
Bryant does not appear any worse for wear, and that's a good sign. That was a clean plunk off the lid.
You can tell that was just a total mistake by Heron of just yanking it across the body with that curveball up in the zone, and unintentional but unfortunate for sure.
Round of applause for Denver Bryant. I think she's feeling okay.
She's still Denver.
Yes,
okay,
she is.
Good. Tough.
So here's Zoe Leno. Batting in the 3 spot today as she has become, over these last few weeks, a mainstay in the Gamecock lineup as she was down the back half of last season. Dealt with some injuries earlier in her career as well. It's actually the only third hit batter of the season by Robin Heron just now. Leno, opposite field. No trouble for Reagan Kramer. Now 2 down for the cleanup hitter, Jen Cummings. Cummings just 2 for her last 20 over 7 games. But does have a lot of pop in that bat. "15 RBIs on the season, 2 long balls. Cummings is the one that's apt to be hit by a pitch. Earlier this week, ended up getting the 50th whack on the body of her career. That is 3rd among active D1 players. Checks her swing. Did she offer? No, says first base umpire Jose Chaparro. Carlos Guzman calling balls and strikes this afternoon. William Lopez Palat is over at 3rd. Hitters count now to Cummings. Puts it in play. Reagan Kramer handles things once more. So each half of the first inning, in Fayetteville. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a moment. Been a very impressive run for her. First pitch from Elena Vaughter just misses, 1-0. There's Deifel, 9th year in Fayetteville, the 2-time SEC Coach of the Year. The 2 seasons in which the Razorbacks won SEC regular season titles for the first time. Also won a tournament in that time. 307 victories with the Razorbacks winning as coach in their history. Those 10 homers for Hannah Gamble, almost half of her hits on the season. She only has 22 of them. So the true definition of a power hitter.
No doubt. I remember scouting her and thinking, no way this kid's only a freshman. No way this kid's only a sophomore. And then even today, picking up the roster going, gosh, that kid's still playing. She's just always, it seems like she's always been a threatening presence for so long. What a great offensive career she's had so far.
Well, 2 years ago as a sophomore was a first-team All-American. Crazy stat line. Hit .374 with 18 homers, 51 RBIs. All over the SEC top 10 in those categories. There is another one, and they're not even moving. My goodness.
And there it is, folks.
Hannah Gamble, looking like her old self, destroys her 11th long ball of the season, and Arkansas has the early lead. Whoa.
She got all of that one. The outfield didn't even move.
You remember scouting things like that?
Absolutely. And that ball just left too high and just a little bit too much over the plate. You know, we talk a lot about Bree Ellis, but Gamble is a dangerous woman. She always has been, and I think that is one of those things that she knows she's looking to hit the mistake. And that ball was just left a little too on the plate.
Brief conversation with first base coach Matt Michael about something. Not sure if there was a stray piece of equipment that made it to the field over there.
I believe so. Something from the bullpen, maybe.
Freshman who has made her impact on this team is Kennedy Miller behind the plate. It's been almost the every night catcher in her debut season. And pretty solid numbers to go along with it. Above 1,000 OPS, hitting nearly 400. This one headed toward the gap. It will just get past the glove of Kiana Jones. Kennedy Miller for extra bases, thinking about 3. The throw to third is not in time. It's a triple for Kennedy Miller, and the Razorbacks are cooking in the second.
Just out of reach of Kiana Jones. And then the spin off the wall is where it really got her. I love the zero hesitation going all the way to third base. You hesitate just a little bit there, you're out, but that was a great aggressive base running as well as a wonderful hit. But wow, the base running there was just textbook.
Now Reagan Kramer has a chance to bring her in. 0 of 13 over her last 4. A chance to change that here. Draws a lot of walks. And if she were to get on base, it'd be another power bat coming in Rylan Hedgecock. Something to consider. And Kramer way ahead at 3-0. Certainly, if you're Elena Vaughter, want to battle back into this at-bat. Got to go after Kramer before you have to deal with Hedgecock. Four-pitch walk. Kramer adds to her total that leads the team. Was tied for 5th in the country with 21 home runs, and she was 10th in the country in RBI. So you know she has it within her as well.
Mm-hmm.
A good start here for Vaughter against her, getting ahead 0-2.
Definitely where she wants to be in this position, ahead in the count. Now keep the ball away, keep the ball down. See if you can get her to chase, but really trying to avoid the meat of that plate.
Early opportunity for Arkansas to blow this thing open. South Carolina trying to limit the damage. Hedgecock, a 5th-year Hog. Really broke out last season after only 71 appearances over her first 3 years combined. Swing and a miss. Runner takes off. Kramer will head to second. So now 2 runners in scoring position and 1 away for the 9-hole hitter Lauren Kamenson. That's the first strikeout of the day for Elena Vaughter. Kamenson to short. Brooke Blankenship fires home. The tag is in time. And Gamecock defense has been up and down at times this year, Kayla, but it seems like a lot of times when they've got a runner at third, they always find ways to limit that damage, and that has helped them out a lot.
Exactly, and I think a lot of that comes from confidence. If we've done it over and over and over again, it becomes habit. You start to rely on that. I thought Desiderio was really key here, making sure that she gave room to get out of the way for obstruction. I think that has been a really tough call for not just the Gamecocks. All of softball has been tough with obstruction over the years, but I do love how she played that. Blankenship coming up with a clean throw, but Desiderio leaving just enough room to where now she doesn't get called for that play. I think a lot of runners end up going home trying to seek out the obstruction call as well, and I thought Desiderio did a great job there with Blankenship to get that out.
We saw Reagan Johnson attempt to square one. She is a slap hitter and a speedy one at that. Also has other speed in Reagan Kramer now at third. So a gutsy play, but something that could do the job. They say speed kills. But now 0-2. Let's see how Johnson handles this. Little chip, and we'll do it again. Time is given. There was a situation last week against Mississippi State where the Bulldogs and their impressive lineup had the bases loaded with no one out, and the Gamecocks were able to get out of that inning unscathed because of a 4-2-3 double play. So again, we're able to get the lead runner at home and actually turn and pivot that and fire it to first. Ultimately got out of that frame. South Carolina tied for first in the SEC in double plays turned on the season. Did that one hit Johnson or the bat or both? Definitely got some piece of her, but let's see in which order it did so.
I think we're going to see an argument here, though, because Johnson may have not been hit had her hands not started to go to swing.
Beverly Smith is out talking with the home plate umpire, Carlos Guzman.
So her hands coming forward as if she's going to hit is what causes that. If she keeps her hand, her
bases juiced for Nia Carter. Lauder deals the heat for strike one. Carter has 3 RBIs and 2 extra base hits in her last 4 outings. 269 hitter in SEC play this year. And the change.
And there's that change.
Lauder very much unfazed. Former All-American at Stanford. Lone year in Columbia making it counts. The 0-2. Carter spoils it. Playable to left. Bree Warren accelerates her pace and brings it in. And the Razor play, Kiana Jones in the 5-hole leading things off. Puts the first pitch straight up in the air on the infield dirt, and there's Gamble. This time on the defensive end, 1 pitch and 1 away. So Jones quickly sat down by Robin Herron. And now Bree Warren will take her shot.
I think you're seeing the effectiveness of Herron with that up spin that she's got. You've got, 5 or 4 pop-ups in the last 5 batters, so Gamecocks are going to have to find a way to combat that.
Bree Warren, the Texas A&M transfer, has gotten healthy and starting to get into this lineup more often. In it for the last 5 games now, 3 of her last 12 over 4. Had the clutch late game 2 RBI double to lift the Gamecocks to a victory against Mississippi State a week ago here. Salvage a win out of that series. Swing and a miss. How about that change?
I love the back-to-back, too. That was beautiful.
No chance to stay off that one from Herron. See that grin, she knows she pulled one off. So 2 outs now, Anaya Black stands in. Black with a pair of doubles in her last 4 games. Second year here after a few at Georgia. And much has been made of the transfer portal and all the evolutions we've seen in college sports the last couple years, it's just really interesting to me to see the number of within SEC transfers that we have encountered here playing in this game. Last week against Mississippi State, there were a lot as well. I'll have to talk more about that when we get a chance, because Robin Herron, just as always, this league so stout top to bottom. Going to see the vast majority of these teams in the big dance. Every win counts. One of these teams will win this series 2-1. Pair of one-run games the last 2 days. Arkansas winning Friday night 4-3. South Carolina answering 2-1 yesterday. As Bree Ellis leads off the third for Arkansas. Just 1 of 5 this series. You know, Courtney Deifel was thrilled to land her in the transfer portal this past offseason. Everything that she brought to Auburn the last couple of years. So going back to the point, Kayla, that I was just starting to make in the last half inning about the intra-conference transfers. Not something that you saw for the vast majority of the history of college athletics, but it's just a new reality today.
I believe that's right. And I think about how many of these players, before they committed to their first university, were really had it narrowed down to several teams in the SEC. So I think when they do enter the portal, there's already some familiarity with different coaches that you've maybe known back when you were in high school. And so there's just already connections there, I think. So I'm not too shocked that once they got rid of that rule that you can't change within conference, once that became a little bit more of the norm, it became natural, I think. So I really think that, like I said, the relationships that were already there previously are coming to fruition of, okay, what if I would have went there? And then now going back to that person.
Certainly a lot to go into the calculation of personal goals, team goals, fit. It's always interesting, too, because Ellis being a case in point, there's a lot of players who have a lot of success at that first school. And it's not like they're not getting playing time. It's not that they're not being effective, but for one reason or another, they feel like there's a better fit elsewhere.
I think you see that a lot across the SEC. I think that's why Vaughter really intrigues me. You know, coming from the West Coast saying, okay, I want to try something different conference, different competitiveness, different atmosphere to challenge herself. I love that mentality. And it's just a different reason for transferring, right? She's a fifth year coming in. I like the idea that give yourself a new challenge, give yourself a new chance.
And she certainly made the most of it this year. On and off the diamond, leader for the Gamecocks. Part of a team ERA that's 12th best in the country from that staff. Kylie Halverson, another transfer from outside the conference, and she's one that follows pretty logical progression when you look at her story. Started in her home state of South Dakota at South Dakota State. Was the 2021 Summit League Player of the Year. Second all-time in Jackrabbits program history in career home runs. She had 40 of them in just 2.5 seasons, the half meaning the COVID-shortened season as a freshman in 2020. So an impressive output there, and decided that she was certainly capable of playing at the SEC level, and she has proven that every step of the way now in 2 seasons with the Razorbacks. Second team All-SEC a year ago. Last season, she was Arkansas's every night first baseman, moved over to second this year, and Courtney Deifel said in the preseason that we run our defense through the second baseman, and thus Halverson's our anchor. We have a lot of faith in her to handle that, and that's what she's done. Pitch number 50 on the day for Elena Vaughter coming up. A lot of foul balls coming from Halverson. Seeing the Razorbacks make some good contact on Vaughter thus far, whether fair or foul. Gamble's the one that got a hold of one fully. Flared out to shallow right. Denver Bryant hustling to her left. Nice work on D for Denver today. And now here is Gamble. Hit the ball so hard her first time up that neither the left fielder nor the center fielder even bothered to move. And that is now 11 home runs on the season for Gamble out of just 23 hits. Has a pair of doubles as well, so more than half of her hits on the season are for extra bases. Inside edge, Vaughter ahead. One-two pitch, same spot, rung her up. Elena Vaughter gets the better of Hannah Gamble. Robin Herron, who has kept the Gamecocks scoreless in her outings this series. 5 1/3 innings on Friday nights. And so far in this one, Desiderio with a good whack straight away to center though. And Reagan Johnson is there for the second straight inning. The Gamecocks record their first outs on just one pitch.
And that was
Jones
great
popped
contact.
up in the second. I'm sorry, Kayla.
Oh, sorry, Brett. I was just saying it was great contact by Desiderio. I don't mind the aggressiveness of the leadoff batter, but what I would love to see here is for the Gamecocks to be able to slow the game down. The last inning, Vaughter had just came off of 7 batters. They were starting to get some momentum going in Arkansas's favor, and then the Gamecocks came in, went 3 up, 3 down, very short at-bats. So I like the idea of Blankenship just taking a strike here. It's just one strike, no big deal, but to slow the game down, give your pitcher some time to be in the dugout, then we can get those bats rolling. But it's about just being able to play that chess match of timing and avoiding that area of there to where they can get a little bit more momentum. We don't want to contribute to Arkansas's momentum. Gamecocks are going to have to really slow things down and get a good pitch to handle.
Certainly, because conversely, as the Gamecocks are thinking about trying to get Vaughter some rest, they want to disrupt the groove that Herron is in. As she continues to throw strikes and record outs. Got a lot of momentum on her side as well. Excellent season for her overall. She's 6th in the SEC in opponent batting average. Leads this team in starts, has thrown 6 complete games. Toward right center. Late call by Nia Carter. Reagan Johnson tails out. And it worked out well in the Arkansas outfield. So first time through the Gamecock order, Herron only allows 1 base runner. It was a hit by pitch to Denver Bryant. And now here comes Riley Blampede to try to change it. First pitch swinging, Nia Carter, another long run, and there along the right field foul line. So the Gamecocks go down 3 in a row once again. Herron otherwise would be here, and that's not to take away from what's still a pretty good crowd on hand for softball, but imagine a few more seats would be filled were it not for what's going on downtown.
Got a timeout, got some catcher's gear out on the field, so now we're set.
This is Kennedy Miller, who tripled her first time up. Former All-State honoree at the Texas high school ranks. These two teams meeting today for the 68th time in program history. South Carolina has the edge 38-29. Has won 17 out of the 31 games played here in Columbia, just over half. But with the upturn in Arkansas's program in those two SEC title seasons back-to-back in 2021 and 2022, the Razorbacks have taken 9 of the last 11 in this matchup. South Carolina yesterday picking up its first win in the series since 2019. Liner to Leno.
Leno's happy she caught that one. That would have really not felt great on the shins.
No, it would not have. Also wouldn't have felt too good if it got into the outfield. Just a different kind of pain.
Mm-hmm.
There's Reagan Kramer, who drew a 4-pitch walk her first time up. Still yet to see a strike from Vaughter today. She leads the Razorbacks in free passes. Kramer started every game in left field last year. Second team All-South Region selection by the NFCA. Previously the number 28 overall recruit in her class. There's a strike. And Elena Vaughter's done a pretty good job throughout this series of quelling Arkansas's bats. Hard luck loss in game one. She went the distance, only allowed 3 hits and 1 earned run. It was those 3 unearned runs off 4 Gamecock errors that doomed them in that game. We haven't seen a lot of that this season, but it happened on Friday. Leno once again involved, second straight putouts. And now Vaughter's retired 6 straight. She struck out Rylan Hedgecock back in the second. Another shot for the 50th. For ball 2. Elena Vaughter, the active leader throughout the NCAA in innings pitched, games started. Also the active leader in wins among D1 pitchers. Brooke Blankenship, my goodness.
Making it look easy. Plays look easy. And that's just Brooke Blankenship in a nutshell, no doubt.
Had a rare 2-error play on Friday night that really hurt South Carolina, but that was such the exception rather than the rule to Blankenship, and you know she's going to come back and make more plays like what we just saw, more than make up for that. Former number 5 overall recruit in her class, started her career at powerhouse Florida State, now in her second year here. This is Denver Bryant's first year here for coming over from Auburn. Got plunked in the head her first time up. She is the only Gamecock to reach base today. Mighty hack that time, nothing doing. Strike 3 called. Third K of the day for Robin Herron. And she's now retired all the Gamecocks in a row here.
That curveball just so effective to both sides of the plate, but coming into a right-handed hitter really hard. Unless you make that decision early enough to swing, to get your hands out, to get to turn on that, get that barrel out in front of you. If you make your mind up too late, that ball rides right in for that strike. It's a little too close to the hands to get you going too late.
Arkansas enjoys making opponents watch strike 3. Strike 1 now to Zoe Leno. Flat out to left her first time up. Pop up on the infield dirt. A little bit of foul territory. Hannah Gamble under it. Michaela, what do you think the Gamecocks need to do to try to break the hex of Heron?
Well, I think they're really going to have to start seeing the top half of the ball. There's an upspin to these pitches, even the curveballs. I think they're going to have to really think about staying on the pitch. I'm seeing some extension pulling away from the ball, like right there with Leno, you just saw a little bit of a flare. The right-handed hitters, I think, are going to need some space. I think they're going to have to get off the plate just a little bit to where they can give themselves space to turn on that pitch. If they are going to decide later, then that's what they need to do, is back off. But I do like the idea of what Jen Cummings is doing here, of being back on the plate a little bit more, letting the pitch break. That one was left over the middle just a little bit, but again,
with SEC squads at the top. South Carolina not on that graphic we just showed you. They're only a few spots further down, 28 RPI entering this weekend, and that's the second lowest in the SEC. So 12 teams in the top 28, and those 9 in the top 20. That means that SEC tournament is appointment viewing. Every single game, anything can happen. South Carolina ran it all the way to the SEC tournament championship last year. Number of one-run victories got them there. Ironically, Arkansas lost its first game, and that was in their building, Bogle Park, after winning the SEC tournament in 2022. This year's tournament at Auburn. Lauren Kammensen on the ground to third. Zoe Leno's been busy today. And it's turned into a pitcher's duel here, as Elena Vaughter has retired 5 in a row. We told you, excuse me, not 5 in a row, 8 in a row. We told you Robin Heron on the other side has sat down 11 straight Gamecocks. So each team seeking a base runner for the first time in a long time. South Carolina has seen their only one in the first. Arkansas hasn't seen any since the second. And that was a second inning, by the way, in which 7 Razorbacks came to the plate, but only 1 scored. And South Carolina was able to get an out at home plate. That wasn't even a force. Shovel pass by Bryant beats Johnson. Arkansas left the bases loaded in that inning. They stranded 6 yesterday in a game they lost 2-1. So it's another low-scoring affair, and historically throughout this season, that has favored South Carolina. Plenty of work to do for the home side.
Definitely Phil Vaughter is keeping them in the ball game. I love how she's working fast right now. You can tell it's as soon as she gets that sign, she's ready to go. She's got a little spice in her step right now. Short work, 1, 2, 3. Back in the dugout.
How about that? Between these two pitchers, they have combined to retire 20.
Have an opportunity here. You get a 1, 2, 3 inning on defense, coming back in the dugout. An opportunity to have quality at-bats. I think the Gamecocks got to reframe how they're going at the plate a little bit here. Instead of just trying to get a hit, it needs to be a little bit about how can I get a quality at-bat. That includes trying to think about how many pitches we can put on the pitcher's arm. If I can maybe try to get on base different ways. I do like that Denver Bryant tried to flash a bunt She did pull back on it due to it being a ball, but I like the idea of let's try to get out a different way. How do we make sure that we put a little bit more thought into our at-bats to where I can create offense? Getting on base here would be huge.
Didn't work for Kiana Jones. She's seen 3 pitches today and 2 outs have taken place. Here's Bree Warren. She was the first of 2 Gamecocks to strike out back-to-back in the 2nd inning. 2 of 3 strikeout victims for the Gamecocks today, and there's a base hit.
And the first ball on the ground today, Brett. That's a huge adjustment. And to think that Bree Warren, I love the idea of her particularly attacking early, because once she did get that 1 strike on her, they went back-to-back change-ups on her. So for her and her personal adjustment of what she needed to do, attacking early in the count, but getting something she can get on top of. Great job, great hitting by Bree Warren.
So there goes the no-hitter and also the run of 12 straight Gamecocks retired by Robin Herron. Great job by Warren, too, to lay that down right along the opposite field line. Found some space, put it right there. Now what can Anaya Black do with this? Flares it off right side. This should make the seats. Anaya Black has found her bat again lately. 3 of 9 over her last 4 games coming into today after she had gone just 6 for 50 over her previous 19. Is she able to convert in this moment? Build off the momentum that is shifting a little bit back toward the home side.
I will say with the Gamecocks, watching them, the difference in their at-bats from Friday night is they're chasing after fewer pitches. Friday night, I saw a lot of curveballs that were way out of the zone they were kind of going after. Today, they're going after better pitches, but there's got to be some barrel awareness. I think they're getting under pitches a lot. Timing is going to be an issue, especially with that added that change-up a lot more. But I think they're going to have to make an adjustment as far as top hand, seeing the top part of the ball, and driving balls for low line drives, trying to make it a goal of how many of those can be put together, and that's how they're going to create offense off of an incredible pitch rate, especially whenever she's got this great outing she's got going right now.
Nasty out pitch as well. Second time that Black's been retired on strikes with that changeup.
Let's go, 7. You got it.
Julia Desiderio flat out to center on 1 pitch her first time up. Great contact, but hit right at center fielder Reagan Johnson. Desiderio has 6 of her 7 hits on the season over her last 12 outings. Also has 4 RBIs to her name. Junior out of Hudson, Florida. Those 4 strikeouts on the day for Herron, adding to the Gamecocks total on the season. They have struck out the most of any team in the SEC, and Arkansas is the complete opposite, the 2nd fewest in the league. And coming into today, Kayla, they had 103 fewer strikeouts on the season than South Carolina.
Wow. I think that's just the one word that comes to mind, that is discipline.
That's saying something, too, for a team with a lot of power hitters as well.
No doubt.
There's Desiderio connecting and finding some green space.
Excellent job, Desiderio, being really strong with that top hand, going for those line drives. Her last time up, too. Excellent job with the line out to center field. But, wow, just great barrel awareness, great adjustments. Now the Gamecocks got to put it together with 2 outs, play a little past the bat here. But great job for Desiderio.
Looks like Beverly Smith's turning it over to a pinch hitter here. And in this case, a walk-off grand slam in the non-conference at one point. Can she help her own cause here? Intriguing plot line. Let's see how it unfolds. Herron brings the heat. Do you think from the pitcher's perspective that Vaughter brings in something maybe a little bit different in terms of what Robin Herron is doing?
Could be, but I think that Herron had success over Vaughter earlier this weekend. I think for Vaughter, it's going to be making an adjustment, which is taking that pitch, that backdoor curve, the outside pitch that she's throwing there. That was the one that ended up kind of struggling with Vaughter. Vaughter had some trouble with that on Friday, so her taking that pitch is a good sign. But ultimately, I think the move here is trying to think about, we have a runner in scoring position. How do we get the ball deep enough to score in this situation? It's getting later in the game, so a small base hit may not score her. We could load the bases potentially, but why not go for it right here? So I do like the gamble of having a pinch hitter, although Blankenship in her own right is a great hitter. But I think that's why Coach Smith is going with Vaughter here. Potential.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count. If Vaughter is able to extend this inning, that's what South Carolina will want from its lineup, as it would turn over to the top to Riley Blampede on a 4-game hitting streak, always one of the most dangerous bats in this lineup. First things first. Here's the 2-2. Vaughter fights it off.
I'm sure there's the extra competitive factor too, Brett, of, listen, I've kept us in this game. Give me the bat. Let me see what I can do myself.
Absolutely. She has kept the Gamecocks in a lot of games in the circle this season. Another 2-2, same results. And with every foul ball, advantage batter here.
This is where Vaughter's got to really lock in. I wouldn't be surprised to see something either out of the zone or that change up again here.
3 RBIs on the season for the pitcher. There was the change, and she just got a piece. No matter what happens here, quality at bat, that's for one thing.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm talking about. We said quality at bats. You get some people passing the bat a little bit here, fighting pitches off, not necessarily swinging for the big fence here.
Out to left center field. Does it have enough? It does not. Reagan Johnson is there. And the Gamecocks leave a pair, but a great at-bat for Vaughter.
Mentality comes in. Sometimes they don't know any better, and we got to make sure that they understand and are aware. And I think Marjetko's maturity has really shown throughout the whole season of that. She really hasn't had this freshman mentality where, I don't know any better. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to throw to her. She's aware of her scouting reports. She's very educated in what she's going to do, and she has great mentors ahead of her, like Vaughter as well. So I think that we're going to see a good outing here with a little bit different variety.
Well, she said in the preseason, my mentality is to attack, hold no prisoners, is what one of my old coaches used to tell me. You're nobody's friend when you're up there in the circle. So she has delivered on that line of thinking. But she does have to have a little bit about that freshman mindset, because in a situation where you walk in facing down Bree Ellis, Kylie Halverson, and Hannah Gamble, wow.
Yep, I think that's what I'm talking about. I'm sure she is very aware of who she's throwing to at this point.
Two and one the count to Ellis. On the ground, Denver Bryant's now over at third base. And she takes care of business, just as Leno did previously.
And a hard hit there, but as the Gamecocks are developing in this game, you see the defensive switch arounds. You got Emma Sellers at second base, and now Denver Bryant moved to third base. She was actually way behind third base, playing in almost a baseball defense that you're seeing now, right? So that play becomes a little bit easier on a very hard hit ball from Ellis.
And now Kylie Halverson. Ground out to third, a line out to second, her first time up. Her first 2 times up, I should say. Out toward right field, Kiana Jones won't be able to get there. So it's a base hit for Halverson. 4th of the day for Arkansas. And that ends the stretch of 11 straight Razorbacks retired. Now here's Gamble, responsible for the only run on the board today. Solo home run in the second, struck out looking in the third. For South Carolina, you just couldn't have asked for anything more from Elena Vaughter this weekend. Told you the complete game 3-hitter, just 1 earned run on Friday night. Today, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits again, 1 earned run, 2 Ks. If the Gamecocks can't get a run on the board, she'll end up with 2 losses for all of that. Obviously unideal.
I do love how they're approaching Gamble here. Great hitter, trying to attack her inside. Now, if that pitch gets left over the plate, that's where it's really, she can hit that mistake. But to be able to attack her like they did with Vaughter, that inside corner, she's going to continue to foul balls off. That gets her to 2 strikes pretty quickly. It's a great approach as a pitcher, but you got to trust your stuff on the inside. If that pitch gets left over, that's where she can really do damage. So we got to make sure that when you're throwing it, you're really only trying to, it doesn't even matter about a strike. You're just trying to hit about that river, which is between the white line and the outer corner of the plate. Love the mix up there. Curveball.
What you're saying is if that ball's left too much across the plate, we know where it's going.
That's right. And we've seen. And now there are people out on the track, so heads up.
Apparently got a piece of her, says Carlos Guzman.
That's tough luck for Marjetko. That's not a bad pitch, trying to hit that spot on that inside corner. And again, 1 base doesn't really do too much damage for her. Leaving that ball over the plate would have been really, really unfortunate for Marjetko. So I think that's a quality pitch.
Must have just got her on the elbow guard.
Yeah, just clipped her, but that's not a bad location.
Oh yeah, you saw that flick a little bit. Loose piece of material, a nice visual aid. So here's Kennedy Miller, and both times she faced Elena Vaughter earlier today, she got excellent contact. The 1 triple off the right center field wall, and then lined one that Zoe Leno caught at shoestring level over at the hot corner. So let's see how she'll fare against Marjetko, freshman on freshman here. A little bit too inside, says Guzman. How about that clip with runners in scoring position for the freshman Miller? Cummings gave it a good effort over there at first. Miller waves on it. Marjetko ready. 2-2 pitch. Miller with contact. Told you the Razorbacks very hard to strike out collectively. Vaughter had 2 today. Out of the zone, count is full. Sage Marjetko leads the Gamecock pitchers in strikeouts with 87 on the season. 8 ahead of Vaughter. Playable for Blampy.
It's a great job by Marjetko there. You talk about the strikeouts, but the movement on the pitches is what makes her so effective. I think, we talk about the 3 speeds, that's already difficult. But the fact that little late break to the ball, that little rise on it to where batters just miss under the ball, she's super effective at that. And I think that's what makes her so confident in her stuff, that the strikeouts are a bonus, but she's not going for the strikeout. She's going for the miss hit, trying to really think about spinning that ball as much as she can through the zone.
Certainly has a lot of movement. Deep and versatile arsenal. She used every bit of it at the high school level. Two-time Illinois Gatorade Player of the Year, the 2023 USA Today National High School Player of the Year, with truly one of the most insane stat lines I have ever seen. Get to that after this next pitch. If the inning ends, we'll tell you in the next time. Here's the 0-2 to Kramer, way outside. 23-0 record. No ERA. That is 0.00 and 340 strikeouts. Just 18 hits allowed. Chew on that for a minute. But that's a base hit, and that will score at least one. Gamble hustling around. She's being sent by Courtney Deifel. Might be two. Those are some earned runs. Arkansas made it count, and with 2 outs, they cash in. It's Hogs 3-0.
It's just a well-hit ball, well-placed ball, right over the glove of Jen Cummings here.
Kramer staying with it.
But yes, I was just about to say, I love the extension on the ball. Less about finishing the swing, but staying on the pitch. And that's what lifts that ball, keeps the ball through that zone, all the way lifted up through towards right field line. That's great extension there.
It's a triple for Reagan Kramer. Her second of the season, now tying Hannah Cammons and Ania Carter for the team lead in that category. Also picks up RBIs number 16 and 17. And in the game where runs have come at a premium, that hit came at the perfect time for Reagan Kramer. Now this is one of the hitters I just referenced, Hannah Cammonsen, twin sister of the starting shortstop today, Lauren Cammonsen. Hannah will hit for herself a decent bit, not in the lineup today. So comes in for Rylan Hedgecock. Hannah is 3 of 27 over her last 10 games with an at-bat. And though she does have a lower volume of at-bats overall in the season, she is 5th on the Razorbacks in average. The field from Cammons and Bree Warren going after it, and
What a
Bree Warren
catch.
coming up with it. Yeah, go ahead. And then the 3 spot, we'll see how Beverly Smith plays it after some shifting in the last half inning. 3rd time through the order for the Gamecocks today against Taryn. Only about the 5th overall in this series.
I think you're going to see a lot more of those change-ups here late in the game from Heron. She's been super effective, but now once you start to, okay, they made a few adjustments, switch it up on them.
The 0-2, swing and a miss. Lampede retired on 3 straight. That's the 5th K of the afternoon from Herron. 1 out in the 6th. Bryant, soft grounder to second. No problem for Kylie Halverson. And this is looking like the type of inning we saw for a lot of this game, with Herron just sitting down the Gamecocks as quickly as they came up to the plate. So Leno back in there. See there, Herron really getting ahead in the count so many times today, and anytime you do that, you're giving yourself a better chance of success.
You see Leno taking a couple pitches there, especially that first one, trying to just slow the game down a little bit. You're running out of chances here. So that changeup, that first pitch, you're just really not going to mess with that one. Just let it go. Still work with 2 strikes now. Leno's had some decent at-bats. She's just under the ball, and if she can just make that small adjustment, I think she's going to be right on with it.
1-2 pitch, another foul ball. One defensive change to note for Arkansas as Hannah Kammensen, we just saw come into bat. She's now in right field. Nia Carter has moved from that position to the DP. Right back to the circle, and this time Herron will handle things herself. Another 3-up, 3-down inning for the 4th time today. Murphy, a rather quotable one, enjoyed covering a series a couple years ago when the Crimson Tide came to Columbia. Great storyteller.
I think my all-time favorite was still Beth Torino laying on the ground on that play.
Oh, yeah. All-timer there. This is Carly Ratcliffe, pinch hitter in the 9-hole for Arkansas. Texas native. Sage Margetko in for her 2nd inning of relief today. Reagan Kramer with the big knock. 2-out triple in the 6th. Played to the last 2 Razorbacks. Hannah Gamble with a solo home run in the 2nd inning, and that's how we've gotten here. Change up, my word. I've seen a lot of that from Robin Herron today. Margetko matches her. That is her first strikeout. And then back to Reagan Johnson, top of the order. Was hit by a pitch in the 2nd. Johnson lightning fast. It was 3 of 4 yesterday. Leads this team in average. Has the 2nd most hits in the league. Margetko leads her 0-2. Nothing doing there. Back-to-back Ks for Sage Margetko. Makes me think, I wonder if the fans here would ever start one of those sign holding traditions where you add K's to the co of Margetko, right?
Hey, not a bad idea, Brad.
And most on this team. Here's Nia Carter, 1 for 3 today, singled back in the 1st inning. Carter's another one of these bats. We haven't had a chance to tell her full story, but again, some ridiculous numbers. She's a transfer from Iowa. We told you played 4 years for the Hawkeyes. Ended as the program's all-time career batting average leader. Last year hit .479 for the season, which was third best in the country. It's a line out to Blankenship, so she won't be able to further that total here in the SEC, but so stud sophomore in the circle for Arkansas has had an answer for everything they've put in the box. Jen Cummings, first one, and she's got a base hit to start something in the 7th for the Gamecocks.
Exactly what you're wanting right there, especially with Jones coming to the plate here. Going to get a pinch runner with Kai Ricks coming in for Jen Cummings at first base.
Ricks with 12 runs on the season, also 6 stolen bases. We'll see, in fact, if Gamecocks decide to send her, get her in scoring position. Again, Kiana Jones has had a couple of quick at-bats today. You think she sits up and takes a few to try to get back into the swing of things, or what is she looking for here?
Again, I think Heron is going to be dirty with this changeup coming back-to-back with these hitters. So she's got to make sure she sees something she likes as far as speed-wise. I think that was a good pitch to go on, especially if she's sitting fast here. She's just got to see the top half of the ball. If Kiana Jones makes that small adjustment, she's in business.
Comes in low, 1-1. Jones batting .311 over her last 15 outings. Leads this team in home runs, 3rd in RBIs, 4th in average. Checks her swing, moves ahead. Arkansas is 28-6 on the season when they keep their opponents under 5 runs. South Carolina on the other side, when they're held under 4 runs, which has happened in over a third of their games this year, they are 6-13. Two-two pitch. Called strike 3. 6th strikeout of the day for Robin Heron. And it sits down Jones and takes away that power. Now Bree Warren, who broke up the no-hitter in the 5th. Hannah Gamble's playing a little bit closer to that third base line than she was the last time. Warren just laid it down opposite field. It's been a pretty good day for Bree when you think about not only that, but that excellent play that she made in left field. Diving into the foul territory part of the warning track and bringing down a ball to end the top of the 6th.
I like the composure she's giving here. Her first at bat, she got fooled on those changeups. Here, second at bat, obviously attacked early in the count, first pitch for her single. But now going back, she saw 2 changeups there and now a ball away, and she's in control of the count.
Good take on 3-0. And now Heron's worked her way back to a full count. Emma Sellers, who we saw come in to play second the last couple of innings, she is in the on-deck circle in what has been an Aya Black spot in the DP role. Payoff pitch, got her. And so all of a sudden the Gamecocks have 2 runners aboard and the tying run coming to the plate with 1 out in the 7th.
And it's pretty impressive if you think about it when it comes to quality pitching. The only 2 freebies that Heron has given up have been hit by pitches. She's had 0 walks. She's super effective. Those are just balls that just got a little out of hand for her, but she's still been able to maintain a lot of control in this ball game. If the Gamecocks are coming up to bat thinking that they're going to walk, ain't going to happen. She's going to give you something to hit. It's a matter of if you're going to be able to be ready for it. So now we've got a pinch hitter here for Emma Sellers. We've got Carly Shelton going with another lefty-lefty matchup. Go ahead, Brett.
No, that's all right. Shelton, a 200 hitter, has 1 home run, 14 RBIs this season. Sends this one out to center. Is it deep enough to move Ricks? I don't think so. 1 pitch, 2nd outs, and the Gamecocks' last hope is Julia Desiderio. Desiderio singled to left center her first time up. 2 very good pieces of contact thus far. Meanwhile, Robin Heron going for complete game number 7 and shutout number 4 of her sophomore campaign. And if this is brought in, she'll have it, and she does. Bree Ellis finishes it off with the P3.